Okay, so today we're looking at the age of rocks. Okay, it's something I mentioned before about, like, the age of fossils and the aging of the earth, and is there evidence for a young earth. And I just wanted to bring out a particular thought that struck me many years ago, and it really was a turning point in my thinking. I came up against the circular arguments for the age of rocks because I was always told that fossils took millions of years to form, and oil as well. Oil takes millions of years to form, and so therefore that shows that the rock is old. And the thing is that the point of argument is this, that the rock is old because the animal fossils are old. They dig down, they find a dinosaur, so therefore they say, dinosaurs, they died out many years ago, so therefore this rock must be X number of million years old. Okay. But then they say, how do you know that the dinosaurs died out years ago? And they say, because they're only found in the very old rocks. Okay. Start to think, okay, so the rock is old because it's got dinosaurs in, and dinosaurs are old because they're found in old rock. How do you know that that rock's old? Because it's got dinosaurs in. Some of you realise it's a circular argument. The rock is old because the animals are old, and the animals are old because the rock is old. And you think, like, is this mutually supporting arguments, or is that a euphemism for a circular argument? Okay. Now, the thing is about fossils is that actually they have to be formed quickly. Animals, like fish, only take hours or days to rot. And if they're rotten and you push them into the sediment, you'll get no fossil because there's nothing left to make an imprint. And the point is that if you've got animals that show their form and their shape in the rock, that means that they were buried when they were fresh or even alive. Okay, and so therefore it's got to be done quickly because the animal must not rot. Okay, and when you look at fossils, most fossils are actually evidence that the animals were buried quickly. Otherwise, you don't get a fossil. Okay, if the bones are articulated, that means that they're joined together. Then you're looking at a fairly quick thing, but the flesh has rotted away, but not so much that the bones have been scattered. But if you leave a dead animal in a hedgerow for any length of time, it soon scatters. Predators come along, scavengers, and they scatter the bones, even worms. Fish that float on the top until they rot. They float on top of the water. You can watch a video. There's a very interesting video of a whale that's attacked and it's killed. And by the time it's sunk to the bottom, it's nothing but a bag of bones. And it's scattered and it's been ripped at by sharks, and then it gets to the bottom and the crabs get at it and the worms, and it has no time to be buried. And so therefore you get no fossil. So when you look at a fossil where you can see the form of the animal, the shape of the animal, the skin of the animal especially, that shows that that animal was buried very, very quickly. And fossilization does not take millions of years. In fact, it has to be done quickly. This is an interesting one. Okay, this actually was found in water, and as you can see, how many millions of years did that take? Obviously it was very quick. Okay, somebody's obviously had an accident in the rapids and their body has been ripped up or their leg has been ripped off, and it's gone downstream. But in certain chemical conditions in the water, then things will be fossilized. Believe it or not, although that's kept its color, and we're not used to looking at fossils with color, that is actually petrified. It's actually rock. Okay, if you go to the north of England, you can come to Mother Shipton's Cave, and there's a tourist attraction there because the limestone over which the water runs and through which it runs has certain chemicals in it which will preserve things. And so you can hang things up, and people do, as you can see, hang things up, and in a matter of weeks you come back and it is petrified. It's actually chemically changed. It actually turns to rock. And so it's a bit of a novelty. It's a bit of a tourist attraction, and it shows that in fact fossils form quickly. Another thing which is repeated like it's fact is the idea that layers of rock represent millions of years. So you dig down a little bit, you've gone back a million years, you dig back another couple of feet and you've gone down 10 million years. You dig that, and so the deeper you dig, the further back you're going in time. Well, one of the anomalies that we find in nature is things called polystrate trees. Polystrate means many layers, and as you can see, this tree extends through what would otherwise be dated as millions of years of rock. So either that's a very old tree or something else happened. And actually it's quite clear that the tree was buried at one time by a big mudslide. Okay, and you can see the root system down in the layer below, the black, and often these are found in coal mines. In fact, in some places there's such a risk that they actually have to put props underneath them, because when they find a circle in the ceiling, often the tree can actually slip down and fall. And what you can see is this is the trunk of a tree, and so therefore if it was all buried at once, there's not millions of years represented by these layers of rock. These layers were all put down in one go, and actually that's something that we find right around the world. And I do recommend that you look for more examples of this, and you'll see just how common they are. And yet next to them you'll find that there are charts which say, oh, this is millions of years old, and deeper down this is tens of millions of years old. Actually no such a thing. This was in a layer of rock that was dated at millions of years old as well. Well, either the dinosaurs used hammers made of iron, or something's wrong with our history books. Something is wrong with the theory of evolution as a basis for the history of mankind or the world. Quite clearly this is a man-made object. This is man-made, no ways about it. And here it is in layers of rock, millions of years old. Or are they not millions of years old? Maybe that's something we should revisit. We're often told that stalagmites and stalactites take thousands of years to form. I remember seeing a chart at a cave in Wales, and it had a stalactite. It had a picture of something about the size of a finger, and it said it was 1,000 years old. And then by the time it was the size of a carrot, then it was 10,000 years old, and so on and so forth. As you can see here, this bat has died, and it's been encased in limestone in quite a short time. Actually, these geological processes take short times, and what was particularly amusing actually was I remember looking on that sign when I was a child, and I looked at a stalactite that had formed on the plastic sign, and it was 3 or 4 inches long, and I looked at it and I looked at the chart and I thought, oh, that must be 10,000 years old according to the chart. It's a plastic sign with modern English on it, and Welsh. So are we to believe that 10,000 years ago somebody put up a perspex sign with modern English on it? Or is the chart incorrect? You see, geological processes do not happen slowly. Actually, they happen all the time, very rapidly. And we see the same thing with plate tectonics. Here's a picture of my little girl next to the cage, and as you can see, there's a stalactite hanging on the cage, which according to any chart would be 1,000 years old. So when was that cage put there? Or maybe we should revisit those ideas about stalactites taking a long time to form. Okay. And so therefore, I just want you to revisit these assumptions, these things which are said again and again and again, and people repeat them so often that they actually start to believe them, but really there's no evidence for them. Thank you.